Hello, everyone. Welcome back once again. I am Nicodemus Kane, and today is October the 12th, 2022. Today we're going to read Isaiah 54. I do feel a sneeze coming on, so hopefully that's not going to bother us anytime soon. It's definitely in there. I woke up sneezing. I don't know why. I was outside yesterday after work cleaning the gutters, so I'm sure that probably had something to do with it. Um, anyways, uh, I'm not going to worry about current events. It's the same old stuff, man. People just keep talking about the same old stuff. Everybody wants to. Apparently now apparently now they're admitting that and I'm hoping that this isn't too controversial enough to have your video pulled from anywhere. I've heard that the injections are now officially being said to have not stopped the transmission of the virus that shall not be named. Just like we always said. And that all those people that ever told you that you have to take the shot in order to protect others, that was a lie. That they always knew that. That was a lie. Of course, they'll spin it however they want to, but yeah. Apparently, everything that your conspiracy theorist friend had been talking about for the past 2 years, everything that so many people have been shadow banned and kicked off of YouTube and kicked off social medias, had their accounts frozen. I've heard that. I've heard several people. They were right. They were absolutely right. I mean, we could talk about PayPal too if you want to talk about PayPal. Holy smokes! I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not. This whole thing about if you spread misinformation that PayPal will charge you, what is it, $2,400? Something crazy. I don't think it's 25. I think it's 24. I don't remember. Um, but that's a thing now. And somebody pointed out that it goes into effect November the 3rd of this year. Interestingly enough, the elections are November the 2nd. So it goes into effect a day after the elections. Makes me wonder if your elections are going to get stolen. Oh, can I even say that on YouTube? I'm not talking about past elections. Dear YouTube, please don't take my video down. I am not talking about past elections. I am talking about future elections. Yeah, it makes me wonder that they would change something like that, that they could. Well, we know that they can shut down your account if you're spreading misinformation. But at the same time, if they do actually charge you money for spreading misinformation, which a lot of people apparently YouTube or not YouTube, PayPal came out and backtracked on that heavily because everybody started pulling out and their stocks went way down. But even if they say they're going to start doing that, I know that's illegal as shit. It's got to be illegal as shit. You can't take other people's money based upon free speech. But yeah, somebody pointed that out, that it was coming into effect the day after the elections. It's funny how that happens. It's funny how a lot of that happens, you know. So a couple of the things I remember hearing were coming in November. policy changes for different things. I cannot remember what they were. Yeah, I don't remember what they were. They must not have been that important. Anyways, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of craziness. It's one of those things that again maybe you should go give your conspiracy theorist a hug and say, "I'm sorry, you were right." Just putting that out there. You can, if you can imagine that conspiracy theorists were right about one thing, this one thing, just imagine what else they could be right about. Oh goodness. All right, so we're going to read Isaiah 54, and we're going to give me 15 seconds, 20 seconds. Let me blow my nose before it starts going crazy, because I don't want to sneeze halfway through this, all right? So hold on 1 second. Must have gotten cold last night. That must have been it. I don't know. I didn't sleep well last night at all. It was a very strange night last night. I think it was a full moon too. It was either full moon last night or it's a full moon today. I don't know. It's one or the other. It's weird though. Anyways, Isaiah 54. Father, please give us the words that we need to have today. Sorry, I got all kinds of stuff up underneath my Bible here, and I'm trying to sort it out. There we go. My desk is a mess. I've said that before. My desk is a mess of post-it notes and junk. I am just not a very clean person, but there is order in my chaos. Anyways. All right, Isaiah 54. Sing, O barren, that thou didst not bear. Break forth into singing, and cry aloud. Thou that didst not travail with child. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife. Wow. Sorry. Let me try that one again. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith the Lord. Enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitations. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes. For thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles, and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. Fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame. For thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth, and shalt not remember the reproach of thy widowhood any more. For thy Maker is thine husband, the Lord of hosts is his name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. The God of the whole earth shall he be called. For the Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth, when thou wast refused, saith the Lord. For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith the Lord thy Redeemer. For this is as the waters of Noah unto me. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I would not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee. For the mountains shall depart, and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from thee, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, saith the Lord that hath mercy on thee. going back to the beginning, because there is a pilcrow at verse 11. Sing, O barren, that thou didst not bear. Break forth into singing and cry aloud, thou that didst not travail with child. Break forth into singing and cry aloud, that thou that didst not travail with child. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith the Lord. For more are the children of the desolate. Now, when you read down further, it talks about inheriting the Gentiles, so we'll get there in a second. Enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitations. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes. For thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles, and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. So yet again, we are looking at the chosen people, the Israelites, taking in the Gentiles. Cry aloud that thou didst not travail with child, thou that didst not travail with child, for more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife. Enlarge the place of your tents, because thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. So once again, we have this understanding that it is not just a chosen people that will be taken, that will make it through. There will be Gentiles. Apparently, more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife. So apparently, there will still be a fair amount of Gentiles left. It's a very strange thing to see for people that read the Bible and constantly see, you are my chosen people. There will only be, what does everybody keep saying now, is there will only be 144,000 Jews that will be saved. Virgin Jews, that will rise up and be saved, or something like that. Which sounds absurd. It absolutely does sound absurd. I think the 144,000, I think they come back and they are the ones that fight. I think that's what that is. I don't really remember. I don't look. That's not where I'm at with my studies right now. I'm sure that a million other people could probably tell you what that means more than I could. This, though, and what we've seen before, and when it talks about grafting the Gentiles into the tree, bringing them in, adopting them in, inheriting them, it's more of the same, is that you will be bringing them along with you. Apparently, though, more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife. Again, count that as there's going to be a lot of Gentiles that are going to make it in, that are going to make it through. I don't know how it's going to work. I really don't. That goes back to the saying between the woman and Christ by the, I swear it was a fountain. I don't remember exactly where it was, by the well or something. And, he was pretty much saying that, my word, I am not come here to bring the Gentiles in. I'm only here to come for my people, So I'm not going to give my word out to the dogs. She said even the dogs pick up the scraps. Even the Gentiles want to have it. Or, they would give anything to be able to have that. So it really makes you think. And you can go into the things that Paul says about it's almost as if the Gentiles have a different way of living. It's almost as if they have a different rule set. I don't want to say that though. It's when he talks to the Gentiles, it's not, follow every commandment. Don't, follow this and this and this to the letter. Make sure that you do all of this and you will be inherited into the kingdom of God. It's not, that's not what he says at all. He says something more along the lines of, don't I know he says separate yourself, but it's don't do like 2 or 3 small things and put your faith in God. And I think it picks up from there, but at the same time you're grafted into the tree. You're grafted into the family. You're adopted into the family. So you eventually learn those ways, which again goes back to the very beginning, to Abraham, when Abraham said that if the stranger wants to come and be a part of it, then they have to learn our ways. And it's been there constantly, over and over and over again. I think it was even in the law itself. It says that if the stranger comes to your, wants to come to the door, and if they want to learn your ways, then they have to do this, they have to do that, they have to, you basically forsake the life that they had before, and they have to give themselves over to the rules of the family of the Israelites. So again, it's I think there's a point where people like Paul were saying, just don't follow your pagan gods. Don't go off killing people. Don't go off, doing all of these wicked, evil things that everybody else does. And God will find that you're wanting to have that peace, that, that comfort that he promised, and he will give that to you. And then once you're there, you will want to follow the rules. You will want to follow the law. He will instill it in your heart, and you will want to change. That's the biggest thing about it. Something that I've been hearing a lot of people saying lately is you will want to change. You will want to become something better. It's not like God's just going to come into your heart and then you're just going to keep doing all the crap you were doing before. No, you're going to want to have that change. But again, I'm making this a point for the people that think that only certain people are going to make it through. For anybody that, hears somebody say that, you're not a part of a certain bloodline, or you're not a part of, a certain something, that God is not going to have any love or understanding for you. No, that's not it at all. I think that having people out there that say stuff like that will go out of their way to say, I am better than you, that will take thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles and turn it into, you will take the Gentiles and make them slaves. Now, it does say that some Gentiles will be slaves, yes, and usually it says that those that were the masters will become the servants. It does say that. Are you a master? Are you a master right now? I'm not a master. I'm one of the slaves. I'm a slave just like everybody else. So does that include me? I don't know. I don't know if that's what it's going to mean or not. I don't think so. I'm not one of the masters here. Now, we already know that it says that the sons will not inherit the sins of the father. So, on that resurrection day, when everybody is resurrected, in order for them to find the judgment, will they be judged that they will not be thrown into the lake of fire and that they will become servants? I don't know. But don't ever let anybody tell you that just because you are a Gentile, just because you are not of any one set bloodline, that you cannot inherit the kingdom of God. You can. You just can't do it while you're enjoying the things of this world, I can tell you that much. You give yourself over. Give yourself over. Ask the Father and ask Christ to come save you. Ask them to show you the way to put that law into your heart, to change your life, and they will do it for you. That's how it works. That's how it starts. Don't believe me. Go talk to the Father. Go ask Him. Go ask Him what it means. Definitely don't believe me. Where are we at? And thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. Verse 4, Fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame. For thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth, and shalt not remember the reproach of thy widowhood any more. Fear not. Yet another don't worry about this. For thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded, for God is not the author of confusion. For thou shalt not be put to shame, for thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth. Which is something that there was in one of the Psalms. When I was reading through it, actually made me cry. It was talking about putting off the past sins of your life, the things that you had done in your youth, the evil and wickedness that you didn't know that you were doing at the time, and taking all of that and throwing it away. And it makes me tear up every time I read it, because it's one of those things that's like, I know how bad I was. I know how bad my life was. I understand that. I don't want to ever go back to that point. I really don't. I feel the world try to tug me back to that point, try to pull me back to that every now and then, and I have to fight it. You have to constantly fight it. You ask God to help you fight your way through that, because this world always wants to take you back to a dark place. Because this world doesn't want to. It's a spiritual battle. The evil of this world, the evil spirits of this world, they want you to fall constantly. And they will do whatever they can through any kind of means possible. Nostalgia, member berries, any way possible to be able to pull you back into into being what you were. Once you get that light in you, I have my wife just told me this the other day, is that when your light shines brighter than anything else, that is when darkness will be attracted to it. And she said that my light had been shining so bright over the past year that she said that she absolutely understands why I'm having the dreams that I'm having, why I'm having the, nightmares, and why I'm having trouble sleeping. She said that that's something that I need to bring back up to God, talk to Him about it. Because she said that, she has been amazed by the light that I've been putting off. And I'm like, I don't think so, But she said it, and there was somebody else that said it too, that, when that light goes on, yeah, they're attracted right to it. Other people will be attracted to that light as well, but just like the good people that are attracted by the light, you will find all the evil, all the wickedness will come right for you. And that's what they do. They try to find your light and they try to snuff it out as much as possible. They try to take you back to the person that you were before. And it is by the grace of God and by the full armor of God that you are able to fight that. You are able to say, no, I'm not going back. I'm not going back to that point. I am moving forward, trying to find that narrow path, trying to stay on that narrow path. And this world doesn't make it easy. I applaud those that can stay on it consistently. I absolutely do applaud those that can stay on it consistently, because everything in this world tries to knock you off. Verse 5, for thy maker is thine husband, which we have said, the church is the bride, God is the husband. And there's a law. He had to die so that he could be remarried. The whole thing. The Lord of hosts is his name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. The God of the whole earth shall he be called. For the Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth. When thou wast refused, saith thy God. For the Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth. When thou wast refused, saith thy God. For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith the Lord thy Redeemer. For this is as the waters of Noah unto me. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I would not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee. For the mountains shall depart, and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from thee, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, saith the Lord that hath mercy on thee. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm sitting there thinking about the guys that think that every mountain and every hill is is fossilized giant bones. I don't know why, but that just, a part of me thinks that makes sense now. That the mountains shall depart and the hills be removed. Hold on one second. it just makes me think of that for whatever reason is that eventually he will clean up the bodies. And I'm not one of those guys, believe me. I'm not one of those guys that's going to say that every mountain is a giant. Every hill is a giant. I mean, people see a lot of different things inside of mountains and hills, and I get it. Some of them do look a little weird. I will admit that there are the guys that I see go out and they will look at certain mountains, certain hills that are named after certain animals and stuff like that, and they will go into the cave systems insides, and they look like the insides of an animal. What was the one? It was a mountain that kind of had the face of an elephant. I know this sounds crazy for anybody that's never heard it before, but it was a huge mountain. And there's a cave right where the ear is. And you walk through there, and the guy was saying, this looks like an ear canal. And he was bringing up pictures of an actual elephant's ear canal, and he's saying, "Look, it's the same structure, it's the same this, the same that, the twists and turns and that kind of stuff. I can see, just got to remember everything in this world was bigger, way bigger. Even though the world may seem tiny to some people, this world is pretty big. This plane that God made for us is pretty big. If you believe the map that's in the moon, which I've said that maybe the moon is a map. That's what he used to stamp the Earth. Other people have taken that to an extreme. That's like, wow, But if you believe that, it's way bigger. It's actually, what would you say, 4 times bigger than what we think it is. I don't know. I really don't have a clue where to start with that stuff. It's gotten more and more interesting if people have found things out, but it's just, but the whole idea of giants being petrified into hills and mountains. Again, I can see some of it. I mean, we're talking about a world that has giant trees that are, absolutely massive. Somebody had to cut these things down. The Bible talks about giants. The Book of Enoch talks about giants that were miles high. I don't know if that's true, but, it doesn't take much. And if these things were to have fallen and, sitting upright or laying down as some people say they are, covered in water, sure. Absolutely, I could see it. There's nothing in the Bible that says that there were great hills and mountains. I mean, there were places where they could go before the flood, but after the flood, there were hills everywhere. There are mountains everywhere. Of course, that's also the great deep, the waters from underneath breaking through, pushing the mountains up, pushing everything up. So yeah, I get that. Sure, but what if? Just what if? Just something to think about. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying that I think that's where they get a lot of this stuff from. I really do. I don't believe in everything that I see, but there's some things that really make you ponder, make you wonder, make you kind of stop and say, well, wait a minute. Now, what if, you got to come at it with a clean slate. A clean slate. You got to start from the bottom and work your way back up, because everything that they tell you, everything that this world will tell you is a lie. We've gone over that again and again and again. It's everything that this world has to tell you about anything is just a flat lie. There's nothing that can be believed anymore. And we're starting to see that now. We're starting to see the lies are starting to kind of come out into the open. Let's get back to it. Verse 11. O thou afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted, behold, I will lay thy stones with fair colors, and lay thy foundations with sapphires. And I will make thy windows of agates, and come on now. And I will make thy windows of agates, and thy gates of carbuncles, and all thy borders of pleasant stones. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children. In righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression, for thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee. Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. There's another stop right there, verse 17. So going back up to verse 11, O thou afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted, behold, I will lay thy stones with fair colors, and lay thy foundations with sapphires. And I will make thy windows of agates, and thy gates of carbuncles, and all thy borders of pleasant stones. Now, let me look here. Lay thy foundations with sapphires. Lapis lazuli. What? It's a gem. They don't have the colors in here, though. I have heard on this journey that I've taken, several guys talk about in the Bible, every time they talk about gems and the colors of the gems, they mean something. What is the one when any of them, when anybody is called up to see the footstool of God, they go up to his place where he sits with the angels around him, and they look down at the floor, and it is a certain color, and it just, you have to remember the footstool of God is the earth. So the floor is the covering above the earth. It's the firmament. And it's a certain color. And what was the other one? I know that whenever they talk about the four gates of Jerusalem, and each of the four gates has 3 stones in it. Those 3 stones represent three of the 12 sons of Israel. But the colors mean something, and I am not the best at this. You hear it though. You hear these guys talk about what a certain color means, what each stone means a certain thing, and of course, you've got birthstones and the whole deal, and each one of the sons of Israel was associated with an animal, which is where we may or may not get constellations from. Because you have to remember, God put signs in the heavens for those that needed to see signs in the heavens. It is a clock, and it works in a very specific way. And those shapes in the heavens are there for the signs for the people that need to see the signs. Because you can look up and you can see the signs, and there's a lot of different things inside of the Bible where it talks about, this will come whenever this happens and all these things, and especially in visions it talks about that. We could talk about the virgin fighting the dragon, and the child being born and all that is very similar to the September 23rd sign that we had a couple years back, where it was the constellation Virgo was, Jupiter passed through Virgo or whatever it was, and the whole deal. But the stones mean something. I don't know what they mean. It's hard for me to grasp the concept of it because, again, it's not something that I've looked into. But whenever I pass over them when I'm reading, I have to stop and wonder. I have to stop and wonder exactly what it means. So, let's see. So it doesn't say what color the sapphires are. I don't want that. I think they're blue, though. Aren't sapphires blue? Yes, sapphires are blue. A very dark blue, as a matter of fact. Very beautiful blue. Kind of like the sky. I will lay thy stones with fair colors, and lay thy foundations with sapphire. Lay the foundations. Lay the... Seat themselves to be founded, to establish, appoint, ordain. I will make where you lie with sapphires, with a blue stone, and I will make thy windows of agates. Why do I keep opening those up like that? I don't want to open those up like that. It's a precious stone, maybe a ruby. Striking fire from a metal forge, a sparkling gem. Agates. Let's see if we can look that up. I will make your windows like an agate, which is kind of like it's a common rock. It's brown and swirly. I will make your windows brown and swirly. Okay. And thy gates of carbuncles. Carbuncles, stones, common stone. I will make thy gates of carbuncles. Let's look this one up. Okay, that's not a carbuncle. That's not a carbuncle. No, that's not. Ew. No, what? Oh, jeez. Let's try a stone. Oh, it's red. Carbuncle stone is red. Sometimes blue. Oh, it's either red or blue. It's mostly red, though, from what I'm seeing. Thy gates of carbuncle and thy borders of pleasant stones. Pleasant stones, delightful, pleasure, longing. Again, there's something to it. Again, I'm not the best at this. I just know that somebody along the line mentioned it. The stones mean something. I don't want to put anybody on to what do you want to call it? Following after rocks and stones and gems. I mean, I get it. There are healing stones. I get that. I understand that. There are stones that we take and we can use to heal ourselves. I get that. That's part of this world. God made this world, and he made things inside of this world that we could use that can help us to heal ourselves, to make ourselves, to give us energy, to give us strength. But every time I go to a rock and gem show with my wife, which we just went, and she picked up some stones that she knew that, were healing stones. She picked up some really nice stones that we can, put around the house. I told her, I said, don't bring anything into this house that's going to be crazy and weird. She said, no, they're good rocks. They're the good rocks. But when we went to that show, it was such a new age, spiritual, the whole deal. They took something that God had made, and He made these things for us so that we could use them. But they've taken it and twisted it. And none of the stuff that they had, that anybody had out there, pointed back to Christ, pointed back to God. It all pointed back to some new age crazy philosophy that just didn't feel right. So when we talk about rocks and stones and things like this, you have to ask God what He wants you to pull out of it. You have to pray to Him and understand that there are things that He has made for good for us, for this world, and there are things that He has made that evil men in this world have twisted to their own means and desires, and have used against us to manipulate us and hurt us. And that's just one of those things. That's what he does. That's what Satan does. Satan can't make anything on his own, so he has to take something that somebody else has made and turn it into something evil. That's Satan. That's pretty much the basis of the whole thing. is that everything that's here that was perfect and wonderful and amazing that we had, he's flipped it on its head. And that just, we're talking about, again, like the rocks, gems, minerals, things, plants, herbs that have been taken and twisted for bad medicinal purposes and practices. Numerology, gematria, the whole deal, that astrology. Now, I'm not saying that we follow astrology, but there is, again, there are places in the Bible where it talks about signs in the stars. When these things happen, you will know whatever. We're not supposed to use it for fortune telling, but the evil people of this world have taken it and twisted it. And don't be scared of the things of God, but at the same time, don't use them in ways that He doesn't want us to use them for. Let's put it that way. How's that sound? But again, with the stones, there's always something. There's something more to it. There's something more to it. And again, I don't know it. And that's not my field of study. That's not my place to go off and say, oh yeah, I know exactly what that means. I don't know exactly what that means. I just know that other people have said it. And every time I come across it, I think maybe there's something there. I'm not going to be the one that tells anybody anything though. So don't listen to me. Again, go find out for yourself. I'm a lowly messenger, usually with bad messages. So go find it somewhere else. And I will make thy windows of agates, and thy gates of carbuncles, and all thy borders of pleasant stones, and all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children. Won't that be it? Won't that be nice? That'd be so amazing. We can actually be able to teach our own kids of God, and they will be at peace because they will have learned of God. Won't that be beautiful? That'd be absolutely beautiful. In righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression. Thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee. Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. They as in those that are left in the world. Whoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. Now I'm going to say those are connected. So those that are the oppressors, that are the terror, for that's what it says before. And from terror, for it shall not come near thee. Thou shalt be far from oppression, for those people that oppress you and make you fear, make you suffer from terror. They shall gather together, but they shall not gather together by God. They shall get together against his people, and they shall fall. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. Verse 17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. I've heard that one many times. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Some people have taken that and twisted it. Twisted it to the point where they have said, it's okay to take X. It's okay to do X. It's okay to have X in your house because it can't hurt you, because no weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. And that's fine if you are saved, chosen, and if you have that full armor of God behind you. For those that don't, they will fall to another trap, to another evil of this world. There are men out there that have already taken the word, twisted it every which way in order to trap and ensnare people that don't know any better. Lord God, please don't let me do that. But one of the ways that people have been doing it is they have been saying, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. No, there is no weapon in this world that can hurt you. There's nothing in this world that you can take, eat, ingest, do whatever you want that can hurt and destroy you, because you are God's chosen people and you will be able to fight off anything. So they go off and they do whatever it is. They eat a certain thing, they take a certain thing, they do a certain thing, whatever, and they fall to destruction. They fell for it, whatever it was, and it was only there to hurt them and destroy them. And it is sick and disgusting. I know we're not to worry about this world, that we're not supposed to worry about the things of this world, that this world is fleeting, that we are promised something better on the other side. I get that. But while we are here, We should not allow ourselves to fall into the hands of the wicked, to let our children fall into the hands of wicked people, to let wicked people constantly hurt and destroy us, especially those that don't know better. We're supposed to try to protect others, to help others. Do unto others as you would want done to yourself. So I'm going to tell you what, if I ever had a kid, I wouldn't want my kid to be hurt or damaged by any injection that they could ever take, whether it be autism or whether it be some people say ADHD, some people said allergies. There has been a massive spike in dairy allergies, gluten allergies, just about every kind of food. People just can't eat certain foods anymore. And a lot of people seem to think that it might be because of the shots, you know? I wouldn't want any kid that I have to suddenly die at the age of 5 of myocarditis or a blood clot. Anything like that. I would not want that. I wouldn't want that for anybody else either. And yet, there are people out there that are telling their churches, these are the same churches that they go in there and they tell them that they can go live their best life in this world and do all the things that God does not want them to do. And as long as they come back on Sundays and pray, sing their psalms, and pay their tithes, that everything's going to be okay. Those are the same people that are telling the people of this world, if you believe in God, if you are saved by Christ, there is no weapon that is formed against you. Why would you worry about some shot? Why would you worry about taking it? It won't harm you. And those are the people that I think get hurt the worst, because this is a spiritual battle. Do you really believe that the evil creatures of this world would make something that wouldn't automatically target God, true God-fearing Christians? You don't think that it wouldn't completely target them first? That there isn't such a spiritual battle that maybe those are the people that are getting these sicknesses, these illnesses that keep popping up. You don't think that they're getting them worse than anybody else? Makes you think. It really, truly makes you think. If you believe, if you had faith as a mustard seed, if you truly, truly were saved and had that full armor, was able to go through this world and not be hurt and harmed and destroyed by anything, then yes, no weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn. If you're truly walking in that light, in that spirit, you wouldn't have to worry about it. But again, there are so many people that are falling for the soft words of wicked men that will tickle their ears, and they will tell them, all you have to do is pray to God, don't worry, and take your shot. I think the second part of that, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn. That's the second part of that. Everyone that speaks out against you in judgment, you shall condemn them. Boy, that's nowhere near any church or any church-going peoples that I know. So many people want to speak out against them in judgment, and that church people just sit down and take it because they're told to just sit down and take it. Because you would rather believe it where it says the people, not you specifically, but the people, churchgoers, the good Christians would rather believe it when it says to turn the other cheek, rather than to believe it where it says right here, every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. That's not turning another cheek. That's condemning people. That's saying no. That's speaking up. Man, it's either one way or another. It's either one way or another. I see it all the time, man. It's either one way or another. You're either sitting down on your hands up under your butt because you don't need them. You're sitting on them so that you won't use them. Probably have your head in the sand too. I don't know how that's going to work because you can't, put your head in the sand. You're not going to be able to see it anyways. But you sitting on your hands, you got the head in the sand, not paying attention because you don't want to do anything about it. Getting rocks thrown at you, stones thrown at you, called every name in the book, called everything by the most unrighteous people ever, and you won't get up and you won't condemn them with the word of God. You won't use the sword of the Spirit that you have, that was part of the armor of God that you were promised. You say you're going to be saved, but you won't stand up to evil. You won't stand up to it. Because there's too many soft people speaking too many soft words to other soft people that don't want to speak out. This isn't even a fighting thing. The people don't have to go out and hurt others to get the word of God out there. They don't have to go out and destroy other people to hurt, maim, and kill. You don't have to do that. God's not asking you to do that. He's asking you, or he's telling you, you need to speak out. Use the word of God. Use the word, period, to condemn evil, to point evil out, to tell these people, no, you're not going to do this. No, you're not going to do that. And it has created a world where weak men and women will stand idly by and watch as their sons, their daughters, their families, everything they have is taken away from them bit by bit. And they will have nothing left. And then they pray to God, God, why is this happening to me? You know what God says? You're not listening to me. God says it over and over again. You chose not to follow my commandments. You chose not to follow the word itself. What's the word? Every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn. That's the word. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. That's what it says. I'm not making that up. It's right there in the book. It's Isaiah 54:17. That's a paragraph by itself. One verse is a paragraph. Because there's a pilcrow right there, which means that's a statement. That's a statement. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. The heritage of the servants of the Lord is that nothing shall hurt them, and that any tongue that rises against them, they shall condemn. That do not be scared of the barbs and the words and anything that they form against you. Do not be scared of that. But when they speak against you and judge you for the things that you do, you shall condemn them. That is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord, and their righteousness is of me. I used to think it was crazy when people used to say stuff like that, you know. Like, yeah, it's another one of those things that I think of where I used to be. Think of the person I used to be, and then I think of myself now, and I'm like, I never would have imagined. Man, God works amazing miracles. He really does. All right. I'm going to stop. Thank you guys for coming around and listening. God bless y'all. Take care of yourselves. Probably in the next couple weeks, I will not be recording. I don't know. For the rest of this week, I will be, yes. But for the next couple weeks, maybe not. Because I'm going to be waking up super early to get some overtime. I know. If I can record, I will. If I can't, then I can't. But we got to get some extra money. We have to. I can't sit and not say that we're not being hurt by what's going on in the world. We are. I don't have any extra cash flow week to week anymore, or paycheck to paycheck anymore. I don't. We pretty much burn it all out, and then by the next paycheck we're broke. So we used to be able to put money back until all of this happened, of course. But that's another one of those things, though. If good people were just speaking out, this wouldn't be happening. If you were to have put evil away when you were supposed to put evil away, if you were to have followed the words of God, then quite simply, I don't know. Oh, yeah. Welcome back, YouTube. I think I should be able to upload to YouTube by now. Started a Rumble account. I don't know what I'm going to do on that. yet. We'll see. Started a Rumble account. Was kind of looking through it. It's a little weird at first. So give me a second to figure that out, and then I will figure out if I want to use it or not. And then I'd go from there. All right. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves. Watch out for the other guy. It's my grandpa used to say all the time. Watch out for the other guy. He used to say it whenever you would go out driving, but I think now it's just like a general, just watch out for the other guy. I think it's just general now. It's general. So I shall talk to y'all later.